up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Looks like I'm dropping frames. At least it's saying so. 9.8%. What the hell's up with that? It's kind of crazy. It's a bunch of nonsense. Yeah, it looks a little better now. A little reset. Hey, how we all doing? I was going to say happy Sunday night, but I've been having technical difficulties, which we all know that happens more frequently than I would really like it to happen. You know what I mean? But what do you do? I always hate saying I sound like an idiot. I was going to start off with something funny tonight. These two Russian cats that do prank calls. I don't know if you guys probably saw this, but they got George Bush Jr. pretty good. They I'll just give you a little pretext to it. They called him up and they acted like they were Vladimir Zelensky. And they were saying all kinds of crazy shit to him in Russian. You'll have to watch it. It's hilarious. But I'm going to bring it in right now. We're just going to start with this because, this guy's looked at as like some kind of a folk hero now or something. And, that's why I made that meme that said, hey, Zelensky, I was just getting ready to have a bologna sandwich and some cheese doodles. There was a documentary on Bush Jr. Back in the day where he talked about how he loved nothing better than a good bologna sandwich. So you want to talk about Trump not being presidential, and dude eats bologna sandwiches and cheese doodles. Of course, Trump eats McDonald's and drinks how many Diet Cokes a day. So I don't know. Obviously, we're a very sophisticated organization over here in the go USA. You know, I mean, look what we got now. We got Bone Dick in there. He can't even weld and chew gum. Anyway, listen to this. This is pretty funny. They totally fake him out, and I'll be stopping it to do some commentary because this is just funny as hell.
Oh, look who's there, Mr. President.
Oh, hello, Mr. President. Glad to see you.
So they're totally faking this whole thing.
I'm doing
well, and I hope you are as well.
Yeah. Thank you for taking the time for me. I'm very grateful to you because you are a very, very wise person. Former president of Ukraine, Yushchenko, told me a lot about you, how you helped our country. Yeah, you didn't want to take Russia.
I'm trying to see what those what the photos are there. That must be his home office. Pretty drab for the president. He's getting old too, isn't he? His ears are getting bigger. I think once they say that's the only thing that gets bigger, your ears and your man titties and your balls. You start dipping them into toilet water.
Into NATO, did you?
No, I wanted him on the fringe of NATO. I wanted Ukraine into NATO.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean,
I thought for a while Russia would be more cooperative, and then Putin changed dramatically. I think what he wanted to do was sit on the fringe of NATO to make sure NATO was not offensive but defensive.
Mm-hmm. No, but you always
Imagine
wanted
that.
to take Ukraine into NATO, not Russia, but Ukraine. Always, as I remember.
That's right. See, I felt Ukraine needed to be in the EU and in NATO.
No, the narrative. Then in the early 90s, Secretary of State Baker promised Gorbachev not to expand NATO.
That's funny right there. I mean, really, that's what this whole thing stems from. There was a promise that NATO would not extend. And you know, I mean, I could tell you what I think they're doing right now with this whole thing. I guess we don't have I don't know. I don't even know what falls in the parameters of you have to just like not say things, I guess. But I mean, really, all Putin, he just wanted the assurance that Ukraine was not going to be in NATO. I have recordings of conversations with Zelensky and his advisor, and they basically said, "Listen, here's what we're going to do. You're not getting into NATO, but we're going to keep up this charade to the rest of the world that you are getting into NATO, and you guys are going to play like you are going to get in." And I've got video, I've got recordings of him. I mean, they're out there for you to find. I've got recordings of him asking, "So when are we going to get in? 1, 2, 5 years?" And they're basically saying that the way it sounds to me, now this is just allegedly, okay, is that they're basically saying, "Hey, we're going to use you as a puppet to poke the bear up there in Russia, and we're going to get something going on so we can go after them." Allegedly. I think if I say that, allegedly, then we're good. But that's kind of what I got from it. And his advisor, the one guy, and I think I've played it before, but he said basically we've got two options. He said we either go to war with Russia, and it's a long, drawn out, 10, 12-year war. We finally drive them out. Maybe we get into NATO. Or we just sit back and let Russia do what they want to do. Now, I don't even know. That's what's so difficult about this whole thing. What's funny right now, though, is that George Bush Jr. is just getting completely pranked because this is not Zelensky on the phone with him.
But this would be completely
These
wrong,
are Russian jerky boys.
with the threats that Russia poses now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Listen, times change. Baker was, he was a Secretary of State for my dad, which was years ago. And so, and the United States must be flexible, adjusting to the times. And that's why you're finding such strong support for your country now.
No, I mean, it doesn't matter what Baker really promised Gorbachev in past. We have to see what is going on now.
That's right.
Boom. I don't know. They do these parts here on this thing, so I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, I mean, he gets in these digs, and then what's funny is he brings these guys. Then they start going at him, and they're acting like they're two guys from the Ukraine. Anyway, you have to watch. And things are saying in Russian, and he can't understand it, but you'll see it on the bottom on the captions.
I mean, in fact, now it's a war not only of Ukraine. It's a war of West world against Russians.
Yeah.
Of course, Russia was offended that
War by proxy.
NATO began to expand. That's a problem for them. That's why they started. I'm talking about determination of DPR and LPR at regions of occupied regions by Russia on east side. So Putin tries to show that there's the same example like with Kosovo. You remember?
And I certainly hope so. It's very important for the United States to continue in the lead of providing you the support you need. It seems to me you've got good communications with the administration. Your Secretary of Defense and people like that are continually informing our military of what's needed. And our military is very supportive of what you're doing, President.
Oh, you support us with javelins and many other missiles, so it's great. But last time the US has sent us Angelina Jolie. It's a kind of joke. Yeah. Mr. President, I think that I don't know how to turn Russians against Putin. I know that you have many NGOs. Many NGOs have done a great job to arrange orange revolutions in post-Soviet countries for so many years. So they helped a lot. So how we can work in Russia now to make people
Is he getting suspicious?
To start understand things, how to change the system inside Russia with
that glass of water?
NGOs.
Yeah.
Did they
I
prepare
agree
him for
with you.
this?
The information war is very important. And, we've got experts on our staff, and obviously they're having to wire around Russian blackouts.
The story.
So did he look like he was he looked like he was catching wise there. I want to know what was on that the piece of paper he's looking at. His desk is the desk is completely clean. Like there's no papers on it. He's just got that water, that glass of water with no ice in it. And it's just sitting there on a coaster. And he hasn't drank any. It's almost like this. I don't know. It almost looks like a setup. Or like maybe that's what they did. Maybe they said, maybe they set it up so they told him that President Zelensky was going to be calling him and that he should be expecting a phone call. Maybe that's why he's got his desk is all tip top. I don't really see him doing much, George Bush Jr. doing much research or studying or anything like that anyhow. So he probably doesn't sit at that desk too often. And obviously he's still got staff because there's no way that he figures out how to do a Zoom call or however they did this. So it's either these guys set it up really well, or they let him know it was coming in. He had his staff get everything. I'm sure he's got an IT guy. I don't know, and who knows? There's people that follow the president around for the rest of their life after they're done in office. So. But I know that a guy that eats bologna sandwiches and cheese doodles, he's going to have a hard time with that, especially, I don't even know how old he's getting to be, but he's definitely looking the part. Here we go.
With Colin Powell's test tube at the UN, he uses it like a propaganda now. Or it was big plan to bring the democracy to Iraq.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You're living in the past too much, President.
Because I love history. Because I love to get good advice, not to make mistakes in present. I wanted to apologize for your boy Saakashvili, Michael. I had to quick him out. I got tired of him. He was my advisor in Ukraine. He was constantly using drugs in our administration and wanted a lot of money.
Yeah, I know. Look, he's a rambunctious boy at heart. I agree. We had a problem with him in Georgia. And Putin later trapped, and he fell into it. And he kind of panicked during that period of time. You should have asked me whether or not he should have been inside your government. I would have given you advice. But I hadn't talked to Saakashvili since 2008.
But he also failed joining to NATO. That is his big fault.
Yeah. Well, if Saakashvili was true to his roots, he'd still be in Georgia. Not running around Ukraine and other places. That frustrated me. He got elected. He did a good job for a while. There was pushback to his administration. And I would thought he would have stayed and fought for Georgian democracy. But instead, he immediately goes to Ukraine.
Bad boy.
Bad boy.
Is he still in Ukraine? Let me ask you this. Is he still in Ukraine?
Yes, he has a citizenship. I gave him it back. But it's like an anecdote, like a funny story.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Does he have a uniform on and is he fighting the Russians?
Did you ever have a uniform on, George?
You gave him citizenship. He ought to be fighting the Russians.
Yeah. We were able to, I also would like to thank you. We were able to preserve your legacy in Ukraine. For example, those bio laboratories that United States has donated on the territory of our country. It's a program of Pentagon. You remember? It's on the post-Soviet territory. that Pentagon has donated many bio laboratories, and we managed
How
to
about
evacuate them to a safe place now. So the Russians,
good.
Russians did not get anything from that laboratories.
Good. Yeah, you're smart.
Wow.
Yesterday, I met with our heroes of Ukraine. They were fighting on the information front, and then they were recruited into Ukrainian army. They are pilots like you, and they hit many Russian planes. I tried to award them, but they said no. Let us please talk to the President Bush. I told that I will have conversation with you, and they say we are his fans. What he really did in his presidency, and they are my great friends. Maybe they will lead Ukraine in future. Such a young guys, who is really fighting for democracy. They dreamed of talking to you, and yeah, if you don't mind, I will put them on the line, and they will talk to you many good things if you don't really mind. And you?
I don't mind.
Okay, let me connect them. If you will say to my friends, Slava, Vovan, and Lexus, tell please.
That's the guy's names that
Slava,
do.
Vovan, and
That's
Lexus. It's
the
our
guys that
heroes.
do the calls.
Slava,
Vovan
Vovan,
and
and
Lexus.
Lexus.
Okay, Slava, Obama, and Alexis. Bring them
And
on.
I will put them on the line.
What's he
Vovan
writing down?
and
What's he
Lexus.
writing? Oh, he's trying
Just
to
a
so he can
moment,
remember
please.
their names.
I will put them.
Okay.
Okay, just a moment.
So he does have a pen. Look at
Oh,
these
yeah.
guys. Nice salute. Those are the guys.
Hello, Mr. President.
Hi, dudes. How we doing?
We are fighting for our independence.
Well, I'm very proud of you.
We are
Yeah.
also pilots like you,
There you go. There you go.
Look at
Yeah.
him doing that. What's he just doing?
like you.
I mean-
even. Where is the truth? Where is the power?
Yeah.
In the money?
Yeah.
No.
That's right.
So the brother is saying that it's not in the money. Я
Well-
считаю, что сила в правде. Кого правда, тот и сильнее. Вот ты обманул кого-то,
He's in
денег нажил.
did you see the thing come up on the bottom? He's in
Are you trying to
George
tell me-
W. Bush
do you think I
pecan
can
room.
understand you? Because I can't.
No. Just feel like with your heart. Feel this
Okay, I
word.
feel it. I
So
feel the
watch it.
passion.
Watch
I
what you're
feel like
saying.
the
Потому
passion.
что правды за тобой нет.
No truth behind you.
А
I
тот,
see
кого
the
обманул,
I see the passion on
Ему
TV
правда.
every day. I see
no,
the passion.
just feel what we are trying to express.
No, I can feel it, but more importantly, I see it when you resist Russia. And
Yeah,
when you
of course.
fight the Russians. And here's my suggestion:
Keep fighting.
keep fighting.
I will fight. We will fight. Anyway,
Don't let up. Well, the truth's with you.
truth with us.
Yes, it is you and Zelensky. I told
Thank you.
Zelensky he's like Winston Churchill, and
Yeah, he is our president.
yeah, he's great.
And he's like Monica Lewinsky also.
Bush got a kick out of that one. Oh my
All
God.
right, Lois, great talking to you. God bless
Okay,
you.
we will
and fight
put
on.
you. We will put you on President Zelensky again. Okay.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much
Yeah,
for
good
this.
talking to you
Thank
guys.
you. Slava России.
Glory to Russia.
Vovan and Lexus.
Oh my God. Those guys are Russian. Anyway, that's that. I thought that was hilarious. I don't know how they set that up because I'm going to have to do some more background on those guys because they are Russian. And so I don't know how they did it, but they somehow got the number to get through to old Bush. I don't know. Anyway, I thought that'd be a humorous way to start things because we need a little humor in our lives. I know I do. The next thing I was going to bring up, I guess, this whole thing with Hillary has been pretty funny. I can't imagine how many people are getting screamed at. How long do you think Robbie Mook's got? But old Robbie Mook ain't got long. Robbie, he went in and testified that she basically greenlit the whole thing. I don't know if anybody remembers Donna Brazile. You know, she was the one that gave Hillary all of the questions for the debates, basically helping her to, you know, muffle, just get Bernie out of the way, right? Because she had to win that, you know, the Democratic nomination. And so you had Debbie Wasserman Schultz that was running the thing. They went into that campaign, and Obama had left them $24 million in debt. They were paying it back, but very slowly. And so they had a couple different outfits that were running that campaign. They had the Victory for Hillary, if I remember right, and then there was another one. They had a couple different outfits, and they were taking money from the states, and they were trying to pay things off. You know, and I think they were still a couple million in debt. I know Hillary, you know, but she put 10 in, something like that, but they weren't supposed to have access. These were like, you know, you could only put so much in as a donor. I can't remember the number, 3,700, something like that. But if you donated to the, I want to say it was the Victory for Hillary. I'll have to look it up and see. I'm usually fairly decent at these items, these things. But if you donated it to this other fundraising campaign that was outside of voting or donating to the DNC, then you could pump in another 300 and almost like 350, 340 some $1,000, something like that. So if you were a big donator, big, you know, Hillary fan or whatever, then yeah, that's what you could do if you had $350,000 to just, you know, that you needed to write off for taxes. You know, that's how I roll. Jesus Christ. So Donna Brazile, and I'm surprised is Donna Brazile still with it? I think she is. I was surprised after she came out with that book. But she talked about in that book about how she had to call Bernie because she told him that she would get honest with him. And I don't know why she wasn't honest previously, because she was definitely dishonest when she was moderating those debates, and she'd already given Hillary the questions. But Hillary was basically running the whole thing. She was taking the money that was supposed to be left with, you know, a lot of it was supposed to be left over in the states funds and everything like that. And I mean, it basically just got it ran amok. It ran the fuck out of amok, you know, like Ron White would say. So anyways, so now it's coming out that she greenlit the whole Steele dossier. She greenlit Russiagate. She greenlit the notion that Trump had a private server with a connection to Alpha Bank in Russia, which was not the case. Her lawyer, Michael Sussman, went to the FBI, and he went there saying, "I'm not representing anybody. I'm here on my own volition, and I'm here to give you information about Donald Trump and his connection to Alpha Bank." This is what he did, okay? Said, I'm just here, just me, right? Because obviously if he goes in there, obviously he works for Hillary, you know? And the funny thing is when they went back and looked at it later, you know, and they looked at it at the time and they said, well, there's nothing here that you know, there's nothing here that would deem an investigation be pertinent. You know, and you had at the time, you had McCabe, Jim Comey, Peter Strzok, his mistress. You know, these are all the people that are running the FBI. These are really trustworthy people. So you should certainly trust intelligence at all times, allegedly, because I mean, these people are just, you know, and they're unshakable. Just they have the integrity of shit, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of somebody that has integrity that's ever been in politics. I'm having a hard time with that. And anybody that does, I wouldn't want to compare him to these clowns. So anyway, Sussman goes in there, gives away the information or he seeds the information, right? And Hillary greenlit him to do this, to go in there and say, listen, Trump has got this private server that we found out about. He's, you know, He's got the conduit right to Alpha Bank in Russia. We don't know what's going on, but we know that he's in cahoots with Alpha Bank, and that's obviously the biggest bank in Russia. That's a great name for your biggest bank, Alpha Bank. I mean, that took a lot of creativity. So, anyways, so now it's coming out. So they call Robbie Mook. It's a hell of a name. I think I'd go by Robert or Roboito instead of Robbie Mook. I mean, how much shit are you going to catch with that name? I mean, I could get going on that one. I might start hashing that one around because that is a hilarious name. So anyway, now you got Sussman, right? And he's going up on, Durham's coming after him. He's had a 3-year investigation going on this thing. He's been pretty methodical about it. And Mook basically went in and said, yeah, she authorized this. She was the one that she greenlit it. So I don't know. I never would have thought it would come to this point. I'm sure it'll be just like Hunter Biden. It's probably, Hunter Biden is going to find a way that he'll sneak and, figure his way out of this stupid thing. I mean, his dad might not even remember who he is by the time he gets done being president, though. I mean, that guy, I was watching him. What is he doing in South Korea right now? He needs to be in the southern part of the United States. A judge shut down the whole thing with Title 42. And I hate that that's even affiliated with Jackie Robinson's number, because I think 42, and I just think Jackie Robinson, one of the greatest players ever, and obviously one of the most influential players in baseball history. I mean, you want to talk about, somebody that was courageous, brave, and just went through a lot of hell. It's unfortunate that this is related to 42, because when I think of 42, I just think Jackie Robinson, you know what I mean? I mean, nothing but love for that dude. I mean, that guy went through a lot of shit. But so they're saying that that he can't just lift it. But these people in Congress need to get off their asses, and they need to figure out what they're going to do. You can't leave a medical provision in place forever just to turn people around. There's got to be there needs to be a process for this. It should not take somebody 20 some years to go through the naturalization process. It's ridiculous. I mean, personally, I don't see any reason why somebody should not be able to come here if they're in a position where they're trying to improve things. Now, I don't understand why you would want to come to this country right now in the first place. It must be really bad down there because it's shitty up here. It's really shitty up here. And it's only fixing to get worse. It's just getting worse by the day. It's not getting any better. If you remember right, Onion Head said that he was going to get us through this, right? Remember? Yeah. He had a plan. He said Trump had no plan for the pandemic. He did. How'd that go? More people died under him than did under Trump. Trump shut down the travel from China. Now, it's of my opinion, allegedly, that there were some military games similar to the Olympics that went on in China before November of 2020, if I remember correctly, allegedly. Now, there were athletes that were involved in these military games, obviously from militaries all over the world. It was like the military Olympics, okay? Now it's my opinion. It's my thought, or maybe it is. This is a hypothesis. Okay, let's just put it like that. That perhaps that thing was out at that point in time, and perhaps these military athletes allegedly were exposed, allegedly, and went back home. And there we go. So by the time any travel was shut down, which Biden immediately called Trump a xenophobic, racist, and blah, 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 blah. And when they found the unicorn in South Africa, he shut down travel immediately. Didn't even wait to find out what it was, anything like that. Just shut it down. Seems kind of hypocritical, allegedly, to just do the same, the same thing, only much sooner, I guess. I don't think it would have made a difference when Trump shut it down, because I think the first case that hit here was in Washington State. So once it's there, you know what I mean? It's everywhere. And now we have monkeypox. Folks. Y'all need to stay away from those monkeypox. I don't even know what this is. Has anybody ever even heard of the monkeypox? Apparently what they used to do when smallpox was a thing, this is what they did. And I read this yesterday. I'm not kidding you. This is not a joke. I read it. I can pull it up. What they did, because they didn't have a vaccine, so what they did was they took these females that had been exposed to cowpox, and so they squeezed this is disgusting, like the boils, the pussy gooters, whatever, and and then they would scrape it into people, and that was the vaccination for smallpox. That's how you got, so they'd take it and I don't know if they used a little scalpel. It had to have been filthy, because I bet they had people lined up and they'd just scrape it into your skin so it goes in it's pus from somebody I didn't ever even heard of cowpox. Have anybody ever heard of cowpox? All these pox. Is there horse pox? Is there sheep pox? Dog pox? How many poxes are there? Put a pox. Isn't that what they said in Romeo and Juliet? Put a pox on your family. Isn't that what Mercutio said? I can't remember the line exactly, but I think he cursed both houses, the Montagues and the Capulets. You like that? How I just came up with that off the top of my head? Yeah. I read some Shakespeare. Just a little bit. Only took a few classes on it. But, I'm just an idiot. But that's how they did that. So what's up with this monkeypox? Anybody know anything? Let me know. Sound off on this monkeypox thing. I'm really curious. I'm going to have to look this up here. Let's see what we got going on with monkeypox. Now that I'm thinking about it. Because they're talking about, here we go again. We got shutdowns. All right, first thing came up was Monkey Wrench Guitar Lesson. I guess that's because I've been trying to learn that song. Monkeypox. What do we got here? That doesn't look very nice. Monkeypox, and how dangerous is it? And it's already shown up here. Monkeypox, what you need to know, from Channel 9 News. Yeah, okay, I'm really going to buy that. Biden saying it's something to be concerned about. Did you see Biden when he went to South Korea? Okay, I'm going to see if I can find this. This is a funny one right here. Okay. He gets off the Air Force One, his private little plane, and he's got his mask on. Okay, now I don't know why. Let's see. Biden departing plane in South Korea. Let's see this. Not in Dublin. What was he doing over there anyways? I mean, he gets up there and he starts mumbling and bumbling again. Let's see. Here we got his arrival. Let's check this out. Let's see what we got here. Give me a second. Why not, huh? Why not? How many videos is this? Oh, this is 27 minutes. We don't even have much time here. Where is the goofball? Is that him? Let's see. That's some kind of... Let's see Secret Service. Where is the goofus? Come on. Whatever. Okay, here we go. Let me pause this. We're going to turn it up and put it back on. So, okay, here's what we're going to see. He's going to come out the door, right? Out of the cabin of the plane. And you tell me what you think is just a little bit stupid here. I mean, other than everything. Here we go. All right. We're about to see. All right. fearless leader, Mr. Hairy Leg Swimming Pool fighting Cocoa Puff or whatever his name was, Corn Pop. That's what's Corn Pop. Can't get him over it, baby. Come on. Come on. There we go. All right. Let's see. He's got his mask on. The guy that was just pulling the thing up, he didn't have a mask. He's got his mask on. And it looks like a cloth mask. Okay, here we go. Gets down. Okay, glasses off. Oh, he took the aviators off. Gonna do this. Okay, walking up, and what's? Oh, here. Oh, okay, I'm getting close to somebody. Off with the mask. Then here comes Secret Service guy. No mask. No mask on the other guy. You see the guy to the right side. The dude with the red tie, sunglasses, stoic. You know why their hands are like that. Look at that. Just close, up close conversation. The driver over here is just ready to get his ass in the car. Look at the dude. Okay, okay. Handshake. He just took the mask off. Just up close and personal. Who's this guy coming in? This guy, he's Secret Service. And we got some United States soldiers over there, probably based in South Korea. Goes up right in front of their face. Why does he take the mask? Why doesn't he put the mask off when he comes down the stairs? He takes it off and he gets down there in close contact with these guys. There's this little twit with the chrome, not that guy, the other guy, had a little folder with him. I mean, what kind of haberdashery is this? He's just sitting there, touching everybody, shaking it. This guy's got his jumpsuit on. Look at him, they're both just staring there, all his corn cob up the butt. What are they doing? What's going on here? Huddle? You coming up with a football play there, Corn Pop? You're going to do the old Statue of Liberty play? You're going to do a 28 extra verse? What are we doing here? I mean, you'd think they'd get off the god. I mean, look at those, the engines are still running. I mean, I know in case they got to do a, get the fuck out of Dodge move. Homeboy there that's driving the limo was real nervous. He's like, let's get Corn Pop on here. Well, we got the first female. I was going to say, I hadn't seen a female in the entire bunch now. Who's this? Who is this, oh, yeah, what's her face? The pantsuits, ladies. What's up with the pantsuits? I mean, you can have some more flair, some more, a little more panache. I mean, I'm not trying to justify women or anything like that, but every time you see any of these females involved in politics, it's just the same thing. They look like they robbed a vacuum cleaner and maybe they, stole some drapes and somebody made it in. Who knows what's supposed to that pantsuit? That wasn't cheap. And this guy just wandering around. Where's he going? He's just walking through. He's obviously known to the Secret Service. What do you think these guys? You think they got little cameras in those glasses? Where's Clint Eastwood? He's quite a bit older than Joe. He probably looks a lot better than him now. What are these guys? Why is he just talking to these guys? What's he put his hand up? What's he telling jokes? Kind of read his lips a little bit, but it's hard to tell what he says to you with those talks. He's got mush in his mouth. What are we doing here? We're putting together the band. We're putting the band back together. Anyway. I hadn't watched it that long, but I thought that was pretty funny. The guy gets out of the plane with his mask on. He walks down. He gets right in the face of the South Korean dudes, and he takes the thing off. I mean, what's up with that? Does he need Tony Science with him to figure this out? I mean, why wear the mask? And there goes Mr. Camera. Why wear the mask when you're coming down down the steps? I mean, it's not going to help him if he falls. If he falls down the stairs, that'd be real bad. I mean, falling up the stairs is one thing, but he falls down those steps. Whew. I'll tell you what, welcome to broken hips. That's probably the end of it there. So anyway, we talked about Hillary. She looks like, who knows what's going to happen there. I mean, it kind of looks like she's going to end up, I don't know. You never know. I mean, she's got her ways. But old Mook better watch himself. Tell you what, he might end up, you don't want him to get robbed. Like what happened to Seth Rich, allegedly. So after we get through all this, here's the last point I'm going to touch on tonight is the supply chain issues. We got a lot of problems going on there, folks. My advice to anybody out there right now is this. I would make sure that you have gotten stocked up. Canned goods, dry goods, the big bottles of water, like the big jugs, because you know what happens, okay? Now look, we're looking at going in. This is all, it all plays into itself because we're looking at some serious diesel shortages. Okay, so here's the thing. This all has just come together in an amazing coincidence of events. And those of you that know me know that I don't believe in coincidence. I don't think there's any such thing. I don't think it exists. One thing, okay, fine. It's very rare that you have the perfect storm. And depending on what it is you're doing, sometimes if you do have the perfect storm, you can still fix it. This is unfixable. Okay, we got an unfixable thing. We've got, and I was trying to make a list earlier, and I lost my list. So I think I can do it off the top of my head, though. We've got the whole inflation thing, right? So that started going a little nutso-canutso. Obviously, things started going bad with the first toilet paper rush that happened, right? With the start of the virus, okay? The start of the pandemic, we had the toilet paper rush. Things started getting kind of janky. So we had the hit on the toilet paper. We had weird items here and there that people were hitting on and running the stores out of it, okay? Well, at this point in the game, this thing started, I think the first time I heard of it was like November of 2019, obviously, because it was COVID-19. And Screwhead, one of his best lies was saying that, they said that there was no vaccine when he took office. Well, he was on camera getting a jab before he was inaugurated. So there was a jab before him, and it happened because of Trump. Now, I'm not saying one thing or another about that. I'm just saying that's a fact, Jack. It was there. It's on camera. He's on film, you can look it up. So he didn't come up with the jab, okay? I don't know who wants to take credit for that. Anyway, so we'll get back to the supply chain and we'll get back to this chain of events. Okay, so we got 2019, November, roughly. Things get kind of goofy. It was March 13th, 2020. The kids came home from school. It was supposed to be a 2-week deal. It turned into the rest of the school year, all through the summer. Kids weren't allowed to go anywhere, do anything. We were all just kind of screwed. People got their little bonus checks or whatever you want to call it. They started doing the shit around the house that they had put off and hadn't done. So as contractors, guys like me, we got calls. We had a lot of work piling up, more than we could handle. Up here in Wyoming, people start moving in from California, from the East Coast, buying up houses. Housing market goes into a pure boondoggle. Property prices just go through the roof. I mean, it's just insane. Rental costs go through the roof. People aren't working. Kids are at home. Okay, so then we got this fella. He comes in, and immediately we go from being energy independent to him shutting everything down. Right? First thing he does, first thing he signs is shutting down the Keystone Pipeline, which would have been completed by now. And that would be 900,000 barrels of oil coming in from Canada on a daily basis, okay? All of a sudden, fuel prices start going up. He starts withdrawing leases. They say there's still however many 9,000 leases. But from everything I can find, allegedly, these are not good spots. They're not proven spots. They're not places where anybody in the oil business is going to go. You got to understand the cost of setting up, a rig to go drill. I mean, everything that goes into it. I mean, everything's got to be right. It's got to be right or you're going to lose. And that's not nobody's in business to lose. Other than our government. Seems like they're pretty good at it. So, all of a sudden, fuel prices through the roof. Okay? We're on the verge right now. We're already having it happen. We have a diesel shortage going on. Okay, so the rates for the truckers have gone down. If you have your own truck, you're kind of an independent contractor, and you've got, you have loads set up with people that you deal with. It's almost like a brokered kind of deal. So what's happening is these fuel prices are going up, exponentially going up. Okay, I drive a diesel truck. I know where it's at. It's not good. It's bad. I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm $43,000 into a diesel truck that I have. If I can't get fuel for it and I can't turn around and sell it if there's no diesel, then nobody's going to be buying them. So there's a run on diesel. People are stashing diesel. People are stealing diesel. They've been doing this for a while where they pull up at the gas stations. I was talking about this the other day. They pull up at the gas station. They got a minivan with a tank in the back, tinted windows on the thing. They've got a drop where they've got like a little pump, So they got a little drop hatch, You got the one guy who gets out, acts like he's looking at something on the truck. The other guy's pumping a little bit of regular into the thing, whatever, They drop the hatch, they turn on the pump, they start siphoning diesel. Because all you got to do on those things is, you just pull up the fucking cover. I'm guessing they probably started putting locks on them. Who knows? I was wondering when that was going to happen, but it's already gone on. People are crawling under cars with drills and, drilling holes in people's fuel tank. That's got to be nice if you're going to work. All of a sudden you're out in the middle of rush traffic somewhere and you just filled up the day before, and all of a sudden your car's on empty or whatever, and you're stuck there blocking traffic, and you got nothing. I mean, AAA can come out and give you if you have AAA, come out and dump some fuel in there for you, but it's just going to go right back out the bottom of the tank. So you get the fuel theft going on, which is what it is. Obviously, that's what's going to happen when you create a shortage of something. When you have scarcity of something or the price is too high for people to afford it, they're going to start stealing it. All right. Luckily, I have another vehicle, but I was pretty happy when I was paying $75 to fill up my 38-gallon tank. It wasn't a bad deal. However, we've got a diesel shortage, okay? So we already have a fertilizer shortage. We already have farmers. They're not planting crops, okay? Now, the majority of the corn in this country, it's feed corn. Most of it's not for human consumption. It's feed corn, but we do eat a lot of cows. And so now you're going to have cattle that aren't getting feed. Okay, so the price goes up for feed corn, right? And we have no fertilizer. Nor do we have the diesel to run the farm equipment to run everything that it takes to process this. Okay. So number one, we don't have fertilizer. So we don't have crops that are going to be growing to the same height. We're not going to get the same yield. We had a lot of farmers that aren't even planting. Okay? So let's think about this. Okay, everybody's like, well, it's just vegetables, farmers, blah, blah, blah. All right, well, that means fewer potatoes. I mean, if you've ever been out to Idaho, I mean, they've got football field size warehouses out there. I mean, they grow those russets that are just, they got to be exactly perfect for McDonald's. Okay? How many of you eat at McDonald's? I personally don't, but I know a lot of people that, I mean, there are a lot of people because every time I drive by the one here in Coyote, Wyoming, the damn thing is lined up all the way around out onto the main. I mean, sometimes it's out there onto the main drag. People just lined up for days to get that shit, to go eat that crap. Whatever. Eat it up. Okay, so you're going to have a shortage on potatoes. I mean, have fun getting your fries. Okay. That's going to include, your lettuce, everything, okay, agriculture that goes on to your food that you like to eat, right? Okay. But then you're also not going to have feed for the cattle. So what's going to happen there? I mean, because we are just nothing but consumers, and we've managed to streamline this whole process. I mean, if anybody, have you ever watched a video of what happens when these cattle trucks pull up at the slaughterhouse? That's pretty brutal. I'm not even going to play it. But if you have the inclination, you might want to look. As I said, I'm gonna plant some stuff and try to grow some vegetables because we're gonna have to have something because this is gonna turn in bad deal. So here we also have lockdowns in China. Okay, so the last thing I've talked about this as well. It took me 3 months to get my guitar pedal from China. All right, so we still have backups. Okay, 8 out of 10 workers, supply chain workers on the docks are talking about quitting. Okay, they're already down. So we don't have any infrastructure. We don't have the people to transport these items. So that's why the ships are backed up because they come in, they get a ship in, they unload the containers, and they don't have the semi-trucks. They don't have the people to run the rails. What runs a semi-truck? Diesel fuel. What runs those trains? It ain't some dude sitting there with a shovel throwing coal in the thing anymore, folks. Things run on diesel, okay? We don't have alternatives. We have a power grid that's in decline. They haven't done maintenance on the power grid. Okay, Texas has its own, and then there's 2 other grids in this country, all right? You got one in the west, and you got one on the east. Texas, we already saw what happened when that one went down. People died, okay? Texas got hit with a cold snap. It goes down, and we're going to be running into that this summer. When it gets hot, you've got dilapidated grids. You've got dilapidated power lines, transformers, substations. Things are going to go south. California's already predicting it. They're going to have some serious blackouts. Where are we getting our power from? Where are we getting our power from? Most of it's coming from coal. Okay? They're trying to shut down everything that has to do with any kind of resources in this country. Now, I'm all for green energy, whatever. If we have something that's sustainable, renewable, great. But we don't have that. We don't have the infrastructure in place. Instead, we take $40 billion and we send it over to the most corrupt country in Europe. But wait a minute. The first $20 billion off the top goes right to the Department of Defense. We went through these numbers the other night. When it comes down to it, there's $6 billion that goes to Ukraine for whatever Volodymyr Zelensky decides to use it for. There's nobody there. You can get online and you can check out, they got webcams of every major city, and there's nobody around. They got the Azov battalion out of that steel plant a few days back, and nothing happened to them. Those are the guys that they, you know what they are. But we're all about that. Everything over here is you're a Nazi, but yet we're sending money over there where they've got a neo-Nazi battalion of their military who are trying to say that that's not what they are. But they've got the tattoos. They've got I mean, I can tell right away, you know? I mean, it's silly. Okay, so we take, think about what 40 billion would do to infrastructure in this country. It would, for one thing, it would eradicate homelessness. So what we've done is we've sent all of our industry overseas. We've sent it down south. We've sent it to different places, right? So what's going to happen is if and when China opens back up, right? When Shanghai opens back up, because I sat there and watched my guitar pedal sit there in Shanghai for 3 months. I could track it. It sat there in the same place. And they finally got it on a plane. It didn't even come over on a cargo container, which is usually what they do. So those things are floating around out there outside Long Beach. I'm sure they're trying to go other places because you got a port up in Tacoma. You got one in Seattle. You got one in San Francisco, just south of San Francisco, and San Jose as well. You can get on. There's a Project 44 is the name of the website. You can get on and you can look it up and see what's going on the east and the west coast. Actually, it's global. But what happens when China comes back and they get swinging, they get going? Okay, number one, they don't have the workers that they had. See, what happens is when you lock people up, you lock them down. First of all, people die, right? I can't imagine that social life over there as a factory worker. I mean, it couldn't have been much fun because you had people jumping out that were making iPads and iPods and shit like that or whatever, and iPhones jumping out of buildings. They had to put nets around these buildings to catch people. They're living in Pepsi cans. I mean, now they're getting locked in. I saw them the other day. They were like 5 stories up, like way the hell up there, bro. And these people are going down on like these plastic fucking like emergency ladders. That's how desperate they are to get the hell out. People are jumping. People are jumping over there. So if they do go back to full swing, which they're never going to, it's never going to come back to the way it was. Everything's changed. It's all different now. It's not going to go back. It's not going to. Because what's going to happen is if they start pumping out goods and shit again and they start putting them on these cargo containers and coming across the ocean with those things, they're going to be out there bobbing around in the ocean, and it's just going to make the congestion worse. Because we don't have the people on shore working at the docks, driving truck, operating the trains. I mean, hell, they're already jumping on these trains with bolt cutters and just stealing everything. I mean, we are screwed. And we've got this inflation going on. And we're going to have big time fuel shortages. They're already talking about rationing that. You're going to have outages, big time, for a long time. I have a generator. I got a lot of wood. I mean, but it's coming summertime, so this is where it's going to hit, is going to be in the states where it gets really hot. And you're going to have a lot of elderly people are going to perish from this. And you've got this onion head, like the video I just showed you. What in the fuck is he doing in South Korea? What's he doing over there? We got problems here. We have big time problems here. Now you got fucking monkeypox is the next one. Kind of funny. Bill Gates predicted a smallpox-esque fucking outbreak coming, huh? Then he goes and gets the Rona. Everybody out there, you need to open your eyes. This isn't just like something that's going to go away. Things are not going to just go away and go back to like they were. Things are not going to return to how they were before this mushhead took over. Things were going to go bad anyways, but when this guy, I'm telling you what, and I'm not a fan of any of these politicians. Certainly not. None of them. But, the United States, we are in a third world country now, folks. And it's about time that you need to come to realization with that. I'm sorry. I never thought I never thought I'd say that about this country, but that's where we are. Take a look at it. I mean, go travel around a little bit if you want. I don't know. I'm not getting on a plane. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying home. I'm pretty much happy. I think I'm, fortunately, probably in one of the best places to be. I'm very much happy to be here. But I mean, we are in a third world country. We don't have health care. We ain't got groceries. Our fuel's gonna. I mean, we're this idiot ran us out of. You know why they call it strategic reserves? They call things strategic reserves for an emergency, not for some asshole to come in and shut everything down that was working just fine. And you can sit there and they can say, you can have that Jen Lyon Psaki get up there and say whatever she could say, and whatever this new press secretary is going to say. But she had a great first week. Anybody watch that debacle? Good God, she couldn't even respond to Peter Doocy. He asked her how in the hell forcing corporations to pay their fair share was going to take care of inflation, and there was no answer. It was just like she's stuttering and stammering. And here's another person that's an appointee, and I'm not saying anything about black lesbian females, okay? That's fine. But it's another one where they grandstand on a person's color of their skin and their sexual orientation. It's politicization. It's identity politics. Do you understand that? If it didn't matter, okay, if they weren't racist in that party, they would have brought the new press secretary out and they would have said, here is Karine Jean-Pierre, the replacement. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome her to the press room here at the White House, which it's not even in the White House. It's like they've got some fake set, which I don't even understand why they did that. That's kind of weird, don't you think? Psaki's come out and said it. You know, of course, she was the master of misinformation. You want to talk about misinformation? Boy, she could spin it. She could spin a top on her head and do a cartwheel with it up there. But think about it. If those people, if they weren't racist, if they weren't sexist, if they weren't, if they weren't homophobic, then why would they even have to say anything about this woman's, number one, the color of her skin, and number two, her sexuality? Why would you have to say that? It's grandstanding. It's gaslighting. It's trying to invoke a response. So this woman, she's got to know. She knows that she knows the reason that they put her in there. That's the reason. Oh, this will look really good for us if we replace Peppermint Patty with a black lesbian female. I mean, Ketanji Brown Jackson's got to know that that's why she got the nomination. Onion Head said that's what he was going to do. And that can't be very fulfilling. I mean, to me, that seems racist. You know what I'm saying? Because you and I'm not saying that she does. I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about the woman. All I know is what I've read, and everybody can form their own opinion. But for her, she's got to know that the reason she got the nomination was because that's exactly what Biden said he was going to do when he had a chance to nominate somebody who was going to be a black female. Is that not racist? Answer me that. I have plenty of friends of all sorts of backgrounds. Answer me that. Tell me, am I off base? I mean, if you're a person of a different race and you get, put into some, position that you've only got 9 people holding in the whole country. But in the back of your head, the reason you know that you're there is because the president came out and said that that's who he was going to put in there. So you're not going in by merit. You're going in based on the color of your skin and your gender. Am I wrong? Tell me that's not racist. And I've got no issue with, do you think I have an issue with a black female being on the Supreme Court? Absolutely not. But I would have liked to have seen that happen through a system that position is somebody gets voted in based on merit. That wasn't the case here. I'm not saying that she's not qualified. I'm not saying that she doesn't have merit, but I'm just saying that she knows the reason she got the nomination. I mean, look who the finalists for that for that spot. It was black females. He was very obvious that that's what he was going to do. So think about the stigma that puts in your mind if you're that individual. I know I would be if I got put into a position and was there because let's flip the script. Well, because somebody, I'm only going to put middle-aged white male in this position, and you're sitting there and you're the final contestant, and you're looking at, and you got 3 dudes just like you sitting there, nobody else. I mean, what's that do to your? I mean, it's got to do something. I mean, if you're a competent individual, you got to look at it like, wait a minute, did I deserve this, or did I just get like shoehorned in here because I fit the model of something that the establishment was trying to do? That's the way I kind of look at it. And there's nothing. I mean, I think that the racist part of the whole thing is coming from right in the middle of the establishment. It's not me saying anything about it. I'm saying, listen, when that's what you do, and then when you were the recipient of something like that, I mean, if it had been, Ketanji Brown Jackson and, old white dude and, Hispanic lady, whatever, when you just say that this is the person this is what I'm going to put on the Supreme Court, regardless. And you can make the argument, okay, well, there's never been a black female on the Supreme Court. That's sure, you can make that argument, but in my mind, it needs to just the next nominee needs to be the next person that is qualified. Not saying that she wasn't qualified, but when that's what old Slow Joe says he's going to do from jump, it's got to do something to your mindset when you get a position like that, and that it was basically identity politics that put you there. You have to have that in the back of your mind. I mean, I know from years of playing sports and shit like that, it was like, I mean, you were competing and I mean, you knew when you earned a position that you earned it, that you should be there, And we've got a lot of that going on. I mean, I don't know Karine Jean-Pierre. I've seen the things that she's had to say. I don't agree with a lot of them. She's thrown the race card at a lot of things. I'm not saying that racism isn't a thing, because it is. I'd like it not to be a thing. And everybody who knows me knows that. So, I tend to lean more towards the Morgan Freeman point of view on it, that it doesn't go away until we stop talking about it. Yeah, here I am talking about it, but it is a thing. And so it's kind of a catch-22. It's like, if it keeps going on and people don't talk about it, when it's happening, then what do you do? Because then the shit like this just keeps happening. Somewhere along the line, we just got to get past this. I mean, there's no reason why she comes up to replace Jen Psaki, and that's how she's introduced. Not only is she the first black female to hold this position, but she's also a member of the LGBTQ plus community. Why would you have to say that? Why would you have to introduce her like that? Why wouldn't you just say, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor, having served this position, and please welcome my replacement, Karine Jean-Pierre. And there you go. Why do we have to sit here and use these adjectives? It should be very apparent that this is a person that's perfectly well fit for the job. And here's my replacement. I'm going to MSNBC to sell myself out. That's what Jen Psaki should have said. I mean, tell me what's more racist. I mean, sitting there having to do that, I honestly believe that that's some racist shit. Don't tell me that. I mean, she was nervous as hell this week. I mean, it's got to be nerve-wracking enough to get up there. But it's a friendly crowd too, though. They pre-screen the questions. They know who they're going to ask the next question to. The only one that throws anybody for a loop is Peter Ducey, and they know they got to call on him, because if they don't, they're going to really piss off everybody that's on that, the whole Fox News side of things. And the president called him a dumb son of a bitch, but he has some of the best questions of anybody. I mean, he can hit her up 3 or 4 times this week. She didn't know what to say. I mean, it's a friendly crowd, but it's still got to be nerve-wracking getting up there. And then to think in the back of your mind that, oh shit, the only reason I'm here is just because of, my skin color and my sexual orientation. I mean, to me, that's something that really should not even be put out there. I would be pissed about that. I'd be like, that's my personal fucking business. That's my fucking own life. That's like, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't want to be put out there like that. And it's nothing about like not being proud of who you are or whatever. I mean, honestly, you're going to do a job. What goes on in the bedroom in your house, what goes on in your own life has nothing to do with that. And to put somebody out there like that, it's politicizing it. It's identity politics. It's politicizing something, and it's politicizing a person, and it's just she's being used. I mean, tell me that's not racist. Tell me that's not homophobic. Tell me if I'm wrong there. I don't think that's anybody's business, and I damn sure don't think that's how you get introduced to your new job. It's like, look at us, look what we did. You shouldn't have to say that. It should be this is the person that we found that is suitable for the job, highest credentials, best person that we could find out there. She's going to do a great job with you guys. I'm Jen Psaki. I'm selling out to MSDNC and peace out and walk out the door. No. Instead, you got a grandstand. That's the world we live in, folks. So anyways, we've got some serious problems coming with the supply chain stuff. I mean, I saw they had a big military plane come in today that landed in Indiana and had a bunch of baby formula on it that they were unloading. This is absolutely stupid. We're supposed to be the wealthiest nation. We're supposed to be the leader of the free world. And we've got infants that are going into the hospitals because there's nothing that they can eat. We've got problems, people. We've got big problems. And I hate to say it, but y'all are out there asleep at the wheel. And it's going to be painful. I'm telling you, this is not changing. We are beyond the point of no return right now. And listen, anybody that's listened to anything that I've had to say since I started this thing, you tell me one place where I've been wrong. I've said a few things maybe that were off. I've tried to take responsibility for them, but most everything that I've said is coming. I've been talking about inflation since I started doing this. I've been telling you all this is on the way. I've been talking about it since day one. Everything that I've said is going to happen. It's so far it's happened. And I'm not some kind of prognosticator or some kind of wizard or soothsayer or anything like that, but I can read the writing on the walls. And I'm telling you where this is going right now is not good. We have infants starving to death. Being admitted into hospitals, and you can say, well, and I like I said, and I took responsibility for the comment that I made. And I made a rude comment and one that I shouldn't have. And when I made the comment about breastfeeding, I was just throwing something out there, and I wasn't very thoughtful about that. And I apologized for it, and I apologize again. I shouldn't have said that because I didn't take a lot of things into consideration, and I don't think I said anything other than. We don't even need to go back there. What I said was, it was off point and it was off color and it was just not, I shouldn't have said it. So I try and take responsibility for things when I say them that are, it was pretty rude and insensitive. So enough said. I've already apologized for it once. I don't need to go back there. But I'm just using that as an example that if I screw up, I will certainly, you can bet that I don't have any problem with apologizing, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Everybody has those days. Everybody says something they shouldn't. But like these people, like this Biden, he tries to get up there and say, "Oh, I'll take responsibility," but he doesn't take responsibility for shit. He doesn't take responsibility for any of it. He's the most pompous asshole I've ever seen. I mean, this is a guy that said he didn't want his kids going to school in a racial jungle. He's corrupt beyond belief. It's all going to come out. It's just a matter of, are they going to be able to skate through it? Are they going to be able to pull enough pull enough wool over everybody's eyes. I mean, we live in an era now where the truth is out there if you want to see it. I mean, it's a hell of a lot more difficult to get away with scandalous shit anymore. Because you got people like me that are going to sit there and talk about it. It's all over the place. There's a camera on everything. There's a microphone. There's a hot mic on everything. Everything you say is being listened to. Even if you're just sitting there with your phone, it's being listened to. I mean, it's almost like we're at the point where we're doing that Minority Report shit. I mean, and that's the next thing that's on the way. Thank goodness they put the whole the disinformation governance board headed by Nina Jankowicz on pause. And then you listen to that stupid ass, whatever her name is, that Lauren's whine and snivel. What a crybaby. She does. How does somebody like that get to be a member of the press? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I write articles all the time, submit them and stuff, and I am a member of the press, like it or not. But she shouldn't be anywhere near any kind of publication, She needs to go back to school, something, figure out something else to do. Sitting there talking about, I mean, this Nina Jankowicz writes a book called How to Be a Woman on the Internet. What? Is that not sexist? Ladies, do you not know how to be yourself on the internet? You need to read a book by Nina Jankowicz telling you how to be who you are on the internet. Most of the females I know are pretty okay with who they are on the internet as far as I can tell. I mean, Jesus Christ. I don't even know you judge a book by its title, I guess. I'm sitting here going, I don't even know what the book's about. I guess it's about how to be a woman on the internet. She comes out and talks about how she's, been threatened and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, guess what? Welcome to being in the eye of the, when you come out and you speak, she's the queen of misinformation. I mean, she came out and said, for one thing, she said that the Hunter Biden laptop was 100% Russian disinformation, and she was all behind Russiagate. Completely. Who was she? And she sings that Mary Poppins song, and then sings a song about who do I gotta fuck to come up in the world? I mean, that's not sexist. Just saying. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of shit going on right now that's just, it's like, as a mid-40s white dude sitting back watching it go on, it's like, damn, this world's lost its fucking mind. I mean, who would ever? I would never think that somebody would need to write a book about how to be a female, how to be a woman on the internet. I mean, anybody write a book about how to be a male on the internet? Oh, I don't know. I better read that. I need to pick that book up. Like Glenn Greenwald said, I mean, you're talking about it. Glenn Greenwald is he's like the journalist of our time. And he came out and said, he goes, I get that stuff every day. And he goes, it's just somebody sounding off on the internet. I mean, you got internet, phone tough people all over the place talking shit, I mean, it's like if you're going to go out there and sing songs and, it's going to come back at you. Let's see if we can find this book here. I want to get an overview on it. How to be a woman on the internet. Just in case I want to transition, then I would know how to act. I mean, you never know. Oh. Where is it? I typed something wrong. They probably took it down. Hopefully I'm not wrong here with this. Fairly certain that's the name of her book. Oh, it's How to Be a Woman Online. I'm sorry. Researcher and author. That's penned a slender. Okay, let's see what we got here. From the Tech Policy Press. What do we got going on here? Oh my goodness. You don't think dudes get creepy shit on? You don't think men get creepy shit on the internet? You don't think I got creepy shit that happens to me from females on the internet? You're wrong. I get whatever you want, PMs, DMs, whatever you want to call it. I get them all the time. I mean, it's not just females. I don't get any dick pics, so okay. So I got that going for me. Good grief. Yeah, I'm just reading this little write-up about this book. You know, I mean, the main thing you can do there, you just ignore it. I mean, it's online. You don't have to respond. I mean, I ignore it. I mean, I get creepy requests and stuff. I mean, I'm no prize, but I mean, I'm just ignore it. I mean, this woman, I mean, you know, I've played her nonsense on here. You guys have heard it. I can't even stand looking at it again. I did like the meme I made the other day, but it turned out a little rough and cut up. But anyways, what else was I going to talk about? I guess we went into the supply chain thing, though, folks. This is going to get bad. I mean, right now, for a barrel of diesel, you're looking at $282, okay? So if we do the math on that, and we're down to like 18 million barrels. Not good. And the truckers are eating the cost. Their rates are going down, so that a lot of them, whoever they're working for, whatever the contracts that they had, they're not paying any more for the diesel, so it's coming out of the trucker's pocket. So you've got a lot of them that are just saying, enough, we're not doing it anymore, we're done. And we're not set up for any other way to have goods and service or goods delivered, folks. That's where everything comes from, is off those trucks. And the shelves are getting barer and barer and barer. And when people decide that they're done, especially like a place like Wyoming, we're out of the way. People aren't going to want to, truckers aren't going to come up here if they got to, if they're paying the difference for fuel and their rates are going down. Why would you put yourself through that? Yeah, so this is at cost. We're looking at about $5.13 a gallon. Okay. So you do the markup on that, and it means the gas station, so to truck the shit, okay, so it takes diesel fuel to truck the diesel fuel, right? Because we don't have any coming from this country anymore. We're, in fact, exporting ours, which I don't know how in the hell that's still going. I don't know why that happens. It must be worth it to sell it overseas or whatever and still pay for it to go on one of those cargo ships, but those run on diesel too. Think about how many gallons of diesel are in those big cargo containers. I mean, those things are huge. We're running out of stuff here, folks. It is going to get bad. And I mean, this is all going to go in. It all ties together. It all ties together. It's going to tie together with the grid. I mean, what do you think produces our electricity? There might be some wind power here and there, but you know what the cost? Guess what goes into building those damn things? We don't have the battery power, first of all, okay? We have plenty of solar. If we had a solar system set up, to capture and adequately store solar power, if we could capture 1/100th of the sun in a day, that'd be very significant. We don't have the technology. We don't have a way to store it. We don't have a way to transfer it to vehicles. I'm all for the research and development to go into green energy. I've said this over and over. But you can't make that transition until you're ready to make the transition. You can't. How are you going to do that? This is what this onion head is trying to do. This is what these assholes are trying to do right now. You understand? Okay, is it Davos going on right now? How do those fuckers get there? Anybody? Jet fuel's through the roof. What kind of emissions does a private jet put off? You got John Kerry, biggest long. We're talking about a horse head, horse's ass too. He flies around in a private jet and wants to talk to you and talk down and condescend to you about what you're doing to put out greenhouse gases. And it goes back to I remember as a child in the 80s, they're talking about the ozone layer and how the CFC is coming out of a bottle of Aquanet. You're in your house. Your shit ain't going nowhere. Come on. I mean, we have got to be a little more intelligent than this. It's just like calling, referring to what we pump out of the ground as fossil fuels. There are fossils in that. There might be some mixed up in there. But you're telling me that the goddamn dinosaurs were stacked up so fucking high on top of each other that there was enough plant matter on this fucking planet to get buried, 6,000 feet under the ground? Did the earth grow? Did the earth grow? Tell me if it did. Everybody says fossil fuels. No fossil fuels. We're talking 6,000. Oh, it seeped down. This country goes through 21 million barrels. 21 million barrels a day. How many dinosaurs do you think that is? Once a big animal lays there, decays, covered in bacteria, insects, birds, whatever eating on it, there's not much left by the time it kind of gets buried through either the wind blowing stuff over it or water. And you think of the amount. Think about, how much oil comes from one dinosaur? Or a bunch of plant matter for that. I mean, come on. Anybody watch what happens to plants when they die? They get dry as hell, they break up, and they blow away. They don't get buried 6,000 feet under the Earth's crust. And I don't think that if the Earth grew, because number one, if we want to talk science, matter can neither be created nor destroyed, right? So in my mind, for something like this to have happened, then you had to have had, the Earth had to have grown, right? I would think that wouldn't work out very well because we're on a pretty tight spin going around the big ball of fire out there. I mean, to me, it seems like we get, we gain some, some circumference one way or another. That's, 6,000 feet one way or another to bury this shit down there. I mean, come on. You're telling me that some, reptile out here where I find the bones and the fossils, you're telling me that thing died and then ended up 6,000 feet under the ground? Where you got shale layers, rock formations, 6,000 feet under. That doesn't make much sense. Just saying. I'm sorry, I'm critically thinking again. I just hate, every time I hear somebody say fossil fuels, I fucking cringe. I mean, my pops worked out there for 33 here and another number of years in other places. And I mean, I asked him about it. He said the same thing. He laughed when I asked him, because this has been a hypothesis of mine for a while that it doesn't have anything to do with fossil fuels. That's crazy talk, man. It's crazy. You ever seen a dead snake? That's a reptile. They deflate. I found a boa constrictor in our house in college. It crawled under the couch and died. It didn't go down through the carpet. It was dead and it was deflated. I picked the thing up and peeled it up held that son of a bitch up. It was flatter than a pancake. And it was just a bag of skin and bones, man. That was it. You can't tell me that something like that, dies out there and then it ends up 6,000 feet under the ground for you to pump out and put in your vehicle. however many years later we all think that this thing is. And I'm not going to argue that thing one way or another either because I wasn't around. I really can't tell you much that I can personally verify before, I think, 78. 78 was my first memory. So before that, I really can't say one way or the other because the rest of it, I'm just having to trust somebody, right? Trust a book that some idiot wrote. Trust what some old person has to say. You've all played the game where you pass it around the room, right? Where you start off with one sentence and you pass it to the next person. You play the game. Sometime when you're out drinking with your friends or whatever. Just try it and see what comes back. That's history. But wants to, we got to trust the science. We came up with science. We don't know shit. We don't even know what we're doing here, where we came from. We can't even figure that out. Yet we can sit here and say the Earth is billions of years old. Anybody understand how long a billion years is? Who in the hell has the authority on this planet since the recorded history of humankind to talk billions of years or figure out what? It's all an estimate. It's a hypothesis. It's an idea. Nobody knows. How do you think people figured this out? Everybody wants to believe it. For all you know, it might be 200 years old because you can't count that. You can't go back that far in your mind. You don't know. You can't verify it. This is silliness. Absolute silliness. And for those of you that want to, that believe in God and this and that and the other thing, how do you know that if there's an all-knowing, all-loving God that knows everything, how do you know that he didn't form the world through evolution? You don't. But you want to fight people about it, don't you? The only thing you got, the only thing you have is right now, because everything I just said is already done. It's already played out. You have right now. That's it. There's no yesterday. There's no tomorrow. There's right now. It's so silly to sit here and listen to all these idiots argue over this shit. Well, the Earth is 6.23 billion years old. I figured it out on my calculator. How the hell did you figure that out? Numbskull? Shit, 100 years ago, we were in, what was going on? 1922. Go 100 years before that, 1822. I mean, 2 or 3 people ago, we were stupid. We didn't know anything. We were floating around on ships, riding horses. I mean, when the hell did the first car come out? They had to sit there and crank the fucking thing. And the thing went about 4 miles an hour with wagon tires on it. We don't know. We don't know a damn thing. That's the only thing that we do know. I said we know nothing. And if you don't know that you don't know shit, then you're an idiot. I mean, the only people that even have a little bit of a grasp on it are those of us that know that we don't know anything. We know nothing. You don't know anything. I don't know anything. The one thing I can speculate on is that for some reason we don't belong on this planet. I can tell you that. And if you stop and think about that for a minute, you'll understand what I'm saying, because we are the only species on this planet that is uncomfortable constantly. It's too hot. It's too cold. It's too humid. It's too dry. It's too windy. It's too snowy. It's too rainy. There's very, very seldom a time when we're like, oh, this is just awesome out here. We get that for a little part of each year where everything's just perfect. If we didn't have these clothes, we didn't have these walls, we would not be alive. I mean, I challenge you to do that. Come out here, even this time of year. It's May, it's cold as shit out here. Come out here and you can check your clothes at the door and I'll give you a trash bag and you go walk out about, 5 minutes from my house and you're out in the middle of nowhere. Go out there for a night. I'll send you out there with a trash bag, nothing else. You can have the trash bag. That's better than what primitive man had. Tell me how long you last out there, and you'll see. There'll be cattle wandering around. You see antelope. You might get eaten by a coyote. There'll be a wolf or two out there. I know I've seen one out there recently. He's old and mangy, but he'd eat your ass. I can tell you that much. You got nothing, you're going to have a good time defending yourself against even an old-ass mangy wolf or a pack of coyotes. Pfft. I mean, if you don't have human devices out there, go out there and start a fire on a rainy night like tonight. Good luck. I'd like to see somebody do it. Go out there. I mean, you see that show Naked and Afraid. And that's a TV show. They got camera people around. I mean, that's all staged anyways. None of that legit. We're the ones that don't belong here. Yet we can't even open our eyes to see that. We won't sit here and argue stupid shit about billions of years. You know, how grandiose and just arrogant is that? Well, the science says that science, we've seen what science can produce just in the course of this virus. Look at how much nonsense we got from them. They still don't know what's going on. And now we got monkeypox. Who's ever heard of monkeypox? Well, this is a serious one. We got the CDC out there and the WHO. Yeah, there's a bunch of nitwits. A bunch of eggheads that went to medical school and learned from other eggheads that don't know shit. I mean, and I'm not saying anything against people in the medical profession because you know what? I think that they do their best. The people that are actually seeing patients and in the profession, I think they do their best. I think that it takes a special kind of person to do a job like that. But I'm talking about your guys like Tony Science. This guy's never seen a patient in his life. And fucking idiot, the little fudge striper. I mean, somebody just needs to put him in a tree. Get him going on making fudge stripes while we can still ship them around, you know? Get Keebler Elf going. Throw Jeff Sessions up there with him. Let's rock and roll. Get going there, Fudgy. I mean, any of the information that he's given anybody so far has been absolutely nonsense. He hasn't told the truth about a thing. I mean, I could sit there if you want to go down through the timeline. Maybe we'll do the next episode about that. We'll go through the Tony Science timeline and see how that played out. Don't wear it. Wear 2, wear 3. Lock yourself in your bathroom. Don't question me. I'm science. Okay. Science also had people putting leeches on each other, bleeding people. Science had people bleeding people. That's how you're going to get better. Well, I'm just going to put a big old hole in you and we'll bleed you out and then you'll be fine. Oops. Guess that didn't work, huh? There's your science. Thought the world was flat. Some people still think that. Look at all the people that think the world's flat. We don't even know if the world is the world. We could be in a simulation, and it's probably more likely that that's the case. Because if you look at the just absurdity of this existence, then what else could it be? Elon Musk said he thinks that there's probably like a 1 in a million chance that it's not. I mean, and he he's the smartest guy, and everybody, and now he's a white supremacist and all this shit because he wants to buy an app. Think about it, people. Those of you that are my age, right? If you're born in the 70s, 80s, think about the concept of an app when we were growing up, okay? If you'd have talked about an app, if you'd have talked about Twitter to me in 2nd or 3rd grade, I'd be like holding up my calculator going, I could spell boobs. If you type in 58008 and turn it upside down, it says boobs. That was as far as our technology went. Maybe you had a Walkman. Maybe you had a ghetto blaster with some tapes. I mean, look at where things have gone from then to now, okay? And we thought science was everything back then. We didn't know shit. Wandering around in parachute pants with mullets. I mean, not that fashion's got any better. It doesn't seem to get better. It's always just goofy, but I don't know, folks. These are just my musings, I guess. But, I mean, you got to think about the absurdity of all this. It's just absolutely absurd. You know, we're here for just a blink of an eye. We're here, gone. Look at those folks that happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time in Buffalo or any other place where there's these shootings that go on. I mean, you want to talk about, I mean, really, humans are the most absurd creatures I think there are. We're more absurd than the duck-billed platypus. I don't even know what that thing is all about. But science does. They'll tell you what it is and where it came from and how it evolved and turned into a duck-billed platypus. Because science, right? I mean, really, you can't take a lot of this too seriously. What I do take serious, though, is the fact that I don't want to see any more. I just don't like seeing suffering. I don't like seeing people go through pain. Because my point of view on it is that this life is just too short. It's too full of pain as it is to purposely put ourselves through any more of it. To fight wars for other people, to gain power. For what? For what? For the 70 years you're going to be here? So you gain power, go take out somebody else's kid that's out there fighting, not even knowing what they're doing out there on the battlefield. Some 20-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid. Raise them with the idea, serve your country, the idea of this national pride. Do you really think you're that much different than the kid growing up, over the big water? You're not that much different. We've all been lied to. We're all idiots. I'm probably one of the biggest ones out there. And the fact that the stupid tests that I've taken and stuff, put me at a place that I'm at is absolutely a miracle. I mean, we're all miracles, really, if you think about it. Just the fact that you're alive. But then the idea that you're alive and then you're all right with killing certain people, and certain people are okay with killing you, that's pretty fucking dumb, if you ask me. And talking about God and things like that, it's just crazy. One nation under God, well, God, okay, so your definition is that there's an all-knowing, all-living God, but he cares more about people that are in this country than he does about people that are over there. They need to die, and they need some democracy. And we have manifest destiny. Well, guess what? Manifest destiny is going away pretty quick, folks. Because welcome to a third world country. And we're all going to have to go through a lot of pain unless we wise up soon. And by soon, I mean yesterday. I mean, this has got to change, like, immediately. Like, I mean, we need to, you ever heard this saying, you talk basketball. There's always the saying, you stop on a dime. He's like, at full tilt, you're sprinting down the floor and you can do a jump stop and just, and you're stopped. We need to do that. And we need to run some backwards wind sprints immediately, if not sooner. Because if we keep going like this, I'm telling you, and there's nothing I'm going to say that's going to change it, because it's just going to keep happening. Because you know what? We've got a lot of people out there that are just stupid. Here's my challenge. Talk to somebody tomorrow. If you listen to what I say and you feel any kind of way about what I'm saying like I do, then go out and talk to somebody tomorrow. Change their perception. It's got to start somewhere. Decide you're going to come to that jump stop. You're going to stop on a dime and do something to make a difference, because it's going to take all of us to fix this shit. And there's not a single one of these stupid idiots over there in Washington, D.C. or anywhere else as a world leader that's going to do a damn thing to help you or I out. We have to help one another. That's the only way. If you care about your kids, if you care about the future of humanity, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you do, then that's what we got to do. So on that note, I'm signing off. I'm out of here. I've been babbling for almost 2 hours now, but I got a little bit wound up on this shit. Hopefully Hillary and her crew goes away. That'd be a start. The whole damn system needs to go away, though, as far as I'm concerned, because it's just a mess. It's an absolute mess, and we put our trust and our faith in people, and you got to trust yourself. You got to trust your neighbor, and you got to be decent to one another. It can't be about this division and this arguing and this fighting and this nonsense. We've been put here to learn a lesson for some reason. So we're going to figure out what the lesson is we need to learn, or are we just going to keep floundering around, flopping around, and just, shitting ourselves and filling the oceans with pollution? I don't know. We're either going to figure it out or we're not, but the time's coming, and a lot of people are going to, reap a really bad part of this when it all comes down, and it is coming. It's already here. It's already happened. Like I said, there's no yesterday, there's no tomorrow, there's only right now. So what are you going to do right now? Have a good Monday. Be good at it. In all things be kind and do no harm. I'll leave it at that.
Hey man, how the hell you doing? I've been just fine, living life with the noose, and in my mind, all I hear is music. Watching your mouth move, damn you look stupid. I feel like everyone's a stranger. Small talk with your narcissistic neighbor. She's real hot, but they said to never date her. I agree, but you did, and I hate her. You wanna get away? You better get in line. Won't go another day of wasting any time. I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. Got no filter, I got no filter. 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 Hey man, can I get a favor? Yeah, sure, hot, no, see you later. Sometimes I just wanna be a hater. Gotta wash down the top 40s with a chaser. Your voice starts feeling like a waiter. Scraping my mind against a cheese grater. Before you go, sir, you have to sign a waiver. That's alright, I'm aware of the danger. You wanna get